Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to this session on integrating DocuSign with Salesforce. My name is Suresh. I'm an engineer at DocuSign, and I work on building Salesforce managed packages for DocuSign. Today I'm joined by Devang Shah. Devang is an SDT engineer. He has expertise in all of our managed packages within Salesforce, as well as a good understanding of integrating those packages with DocuSign platform. Here is our agenda for today. We'll start with a brief overview of DocuSign Agreement Cloud for Salesforce, and then we'll dive into what Apex Toolkit is, how it can be used, and then we'll take a look at what Salesforce flows are, how Salesforce flows can be used, followed by a demo on how you can integrate to DocuSign using Salesforce flows and Apex Toolkit. And then we'll have resources, upcoming changes, and then Q&A. Let's dive into the session then. DocuSign Agreement Cloud. Many companies associate DocuSign as an eSignature company. While eSign continues to be a strong cornerstone for our company, we also support our customers with all parts of agreement lifecycle. For example, prepare, where customers can generate documents and negotiate with counterparties. Sign, where customers can sign the documents. Act. Act allows customers to define business rules so that when, for example, when a counterparty signs the document, further steps can be automated without any manual intervention. The next one is manage. Like hundreds of documents get signed every day. Being able to search through them, classify them, and store them in appropriate storage is of great benefit to our customers. When it comes to Salesforce, Prepare and eSign are actually part of our DocuSign Apps Launcher Managed package. Let's look more into what it can do on the further slides. Here are some of the use cases for the DocuSign Agreement Cloud for Salesforce, where you can generate, negotiate different types of contracts, sign them, for example, in sales, MSAs, NDOs, order forms, quotes, invoices. There is also an extension package for CPQ to support bulk invoicing for eSignature as well. And in case of HRs, compensation letters, offer letters, approvals, and all that sorts. So these are few use cases, but there can be many other use cases that can be solved and customized using this managed package. Okay, DocuSign Apex Toolkit. DocuSign Apex Toolkit actually comes as a part of the DocuSign Apps Launcher Managed package. No additional installation is it. So what exactly is DocuSign Apex Toolkit? DocuSign Apex Toolkit is nothing but it contains a bunch of global classes and global methods which are built in Apex that helps customers integrate to DocuSign easily without having to do much code or worry about authentications and exception handling and stuff like that. It is like similar to any other SDK, but it's built on Salesforce platform using Apex, so it can be accessed easily for all the customers that has the managed package installed. So how is the Apex Toolkit useful, right? With the Apex Toolkit, customers can actually seamlessly integrate and interact with DocuSign from Salesforce because it's a bunch of Apex utilities available to you on install. Customers can integrate their business processes and customize their business processes and integrate DocuSign into their business processes seamlessly. One of the significant advantages is the exception handling. Apex Toolkit returns all the errors as exceptions with clear type and error message, which helps customers to easily debug, understand the error, and also show appropriate error message back to their users. Uh, these are the DocuSign Apex Toolkit has a rich set of API references, which can be found on our developer side. These are those services that are currently available. If you look at some are predominantly used or account services, helps you configure your account settings, and also like allows the customer to integrate DocuSign authentication flow within their custom flow seamlessly. Bulk send is one which allows customers to send uh, multiple envelopes for signatures to multiple recipients at once. Uh, and there is envelope service that allows you to create an envelope, manage it, monitor it, and all that sorts. Um, there are a lot many examples available on our developer side, which can easily help you get started really quick. So what are Salesforce flows, right? Flow is actually an Salesforce out-of-the-box feature. It is like an advanced version of workflows and process builders. Flows allows Salesforce admins or developers to actually automate a business process for their customers with less to no code, right? So the flow tool comes with flow builder, which is like a point and click tool where you can drag and drop components onto a free form, customize them, query, and all that sorts. And once the flow is built and then made active, it acts like an any other application within Salesforce, right? It's really powerful. So what's Salesforce flow useful? So like I said, how Apex Toolkit is Salesforce flows is also very agile, right? It helps customers to uh, build workflows or business processes with less to no code, and in a really quick time, right? And you can also test these flows while building themselves. So it becomes easy to actually validate them as well. And the flows comes with them, and there are different types of flows for each scenario for the customer to automate. There is a record edit flow, which starts automatically whenever a record is changed. You can schedule a flow to run at a specific point in time. You can also use flow to actually configure. You can actually build a screen flow to actually configure a business process, which navigates, like for example, a sales rep and closing an order form. And then you can incorporate DocuSign within the flow using Apex Toolkit. Yeah, so there are many use cases that can be automated using Salesforce flows and Apex Toolkits. So, demo. So today we're going to show you how you can use Apex Toolkit using Salesforce flows, and then how you can customize your business processes. So I'll hand over to Devang, who's going to show you a couple of scenarios.
Hi everyone. Thanks Suresh, and my name is Devang Shah. I'm working as a estate engineering role for DocuSign, and as per the agenda, we'll go through some of the demo followed by quick code walkthrough following Q&A. So here you can see there are some prerequisites required for using the DocuSign products within a Salesforce. So user needs to have Salesforce org, as well as make sure you enable the My Domain setting from your org. Also for using the DocuSign products, user needs to have DocuSign account as well. User also needs to install the DocuSign App Launcher package via App Exchange. When you install the DocuSign App Launcher, DocuSign Apex Toolkit package is automatically installed. Once you install the DocuSign App Launcher, user needs to connect the Salesforce org to the DocuSign, or user can also start a trial version for DocuSign product. And if you have multiple Salesforce users and those users require to access the DocuSign products, then also admin needs to add those users to user management within a DocuSign app launcher setup. So once user has all these prerequisites done, then user is ready to use the DocuSign products via DocuSign app launcher UI as well as through Apex Toolkit. So quickly, I will show you just once you install the DocuSign app launcher, you will be able to see the various tabs. From the configuration tabs, you can manage the product. There are eSignature products, DocuSign Gen, and DocuSign Negotiate. And from the admin, you can manage the user. As I mentioned, you can add the user via user management. So maybe quickly I can show you one user to add from the Salesforce user. If I filter by profile, I will go for now standard user, and then you can see multiple user. Maybe I can add this user. I will be seeing the products. I sign up and I can give the access based on the requirement. So that's how you can add the users. Next, let's move on to some of the example of the customer use case. Here we will assume that there is a company called Talent Hunt and they are using the Salesforce app for collecting applications for the job, and admin wants to send the NDA for the applicant to sign every time whenever new application is submitted. So here, due to the large volume of the application as well as multiple job posting, admin decided to automate this flow using the DocuSign Apex Toolkit and Salesforce flows. And now we can see how we can take the advantage of DocuSign Apex Toolkit and automate this flow as per the requirement. So now here Talent Hunt is using the application called Recruiting, which is within a Salesforce org. And here there are two job postings. One is for software engineering, the other is for product management. If I go inside the job posting, so here there are already 3 applicants, and if I create the new applicant, I should get the email for signing the NDA. So here I will go with the applicant name. The email address I will enter for now 012345. You can have additional validation for validating the phone, and we'll click on save. So once the application is successfully submitted, users will receive the email in their inbox. So here I will go to my inbox. We can see here the email, and if I refresh here, you can see I received the envelope to sign. Click on the envelope, click continue. Here I can see the tab for signing as well as name and date. So now once you complete the envelope, you will also receive the copy of completed envelope. Now we'll go through the steps how we can automate this all workflow. So there are mainly 3 components. First thing is to create the DocuSign envelope template. So here in this case, as you can see, I have created the template called NDA with single signer, and this is the template ID which will be used in writing the Apex code. The second thing is using the Salesforce flow. So one of the advantage of using the Salesforce flow is that even if you have same code base, you can use it for multiple flow. So for this customer use case, I have used the record trigger flow, which is being triggered whenever new record is created, and getting the record ID from the record and passing it to the Apex action. So as a part of the action, it is calling the invocable method, which redirecting and calling the API for the Apex toolkit. So here, if I click on my action, you can see whenever new record is created, the action will be triggered, and then it will be called Apex action. Now we'll go to developer console to look into the source code. Okay, on the screen, you can see I have the invocable method, which is being triggered via Salesforce flow. This invocable method calls the future callout method to make the API call to send for signature. And I'm passing the source ID of my object. And here the Apex Toolkit API call made with passing the object source ID. So in this example, I have used the hard-coded template ID, but in your case, you can also pass it through Salesforce flows so that this code can be more generalized and can be used for multiple flows as well as multiple template. So the first step, we'll get the applicant details here, and then we'll create the new recipient for my template. So here I'm passing the name and the email address followed by the role. Once we have the recipient, we'll add the recipient in my list of recipients. And then here I'm using the template, which I just showed you earlier. Once you have the template, we'll attach the document. You can give whatever name you prefer with template ID. And in the last, we'll call the send envelope API method within a Salesforce DocuSign Apex Toolkit. So here you can see all the methods starts with the DFSLE are actually the DocuSign Apex Toolkit. So all the services and methods are prefixed with DFSLE namespace. So now we'll jump back to presentation. For another customer use case, we can see here the same company, the Talent Hunt, and they want to send the NDA to all the applicants for the jobs, for the specific job. So it can be even if there are updated NDA version, and then if you want to send updated NDA to sign by all the applicants, that is also the use case where you want to send the envelope for multiple recipients. And so in this case, we'll take the advantage of using the DocuSign bulk send service API, which can be used for sending the envelope for multiple recipients. And we'll quickly show you how we can do that, including demo. So again, we'll go back to my application with the same job posting. Okay, so here on the screen on the right side, you can see I have updated NDA and I want all the applicant to sign this NDA. So as admin, I can click on this button and all the applicants to receive the NDA to sign in their inbox. So let's go to one of the user. Sometimes it takes a minute for this flow to be called. So here you can see I just got the new envelope. Okay, I actually didn't click in the previous one. Okay, so now let's refresh it. Okay, now you see in my inbox I got the envelope to sign for this donor user. Then there is another user, Robert, should also get this envelope to sign NDA. The third one is the Eric. So I refresh, you can see here envelope received in Eric's inbox. Same way we can complete the envelope by signing it, then finish for all the applicant. Okay, now we'll jump back to the same way we'll have to create the DocuSign envelope template. In this case, it is using the same templates, but if there is a new document, we can also replace the document with updated document. And here I'm using the Salesforce flow, auto launch flow, which is being triggered whenever I click on the user action, and it is getting all the records for the applicants, and will be passed it to call the Apex API. So here I'm passing the template ID via Salesforce flow. So if I click here, yeah, here you can see now I have template ID, which is same as I show you the template earlier. This is the one. And same, this flow will trigger the invocable method, which is written in the Apex. So here, the notify applicant invocable method being called via Salesforce auto launch trigger flow. And for sending the envelope for multiple recipient, we need to create the bulk list before calling the bulk send API. So here I am creating the bulk copies for all the recipients, which I'm getting via send details. And once I have all the recipients, I will be adding into my bulk list. And the next step is to create the bulk copies of my bulk recipient using earlier created bulk copies. So here, as you can see, which is being called Apex API method bulk send service dot create list. And then after created bulk list, I will have the bulk list ID. So here, once you have bulk list ID, we can use the same bulk list ID to send the envelope for multiple recipient for future. So you don't need to create the bulk list every time if you want to use the same bulk list to send envelope. So once I have bulk list, I'm calling the bulk send method and passing the my bulk list ID as well as my template ID, which is I got from the Salesforce flow trigger. And in this method, I have the template ID, bulk list ID, and then creating a draft envelope with the document. And once I have the draft envelope, I am calling the bulk send service API to send the envelope with my bulk list ID and envelope. So once I have it, it will be successfully sent envelope to all the recipients from the application. And these all can be also, if you want to see this successfully run and finished, we can also check it from the Apex logs. So if I go here and I search for Apex log, yeah, in the Apex jobs, you can see there are multiple Apex methods being called just around the time. So it is completed status successfully. So if there are any error, you will be able to see that as well. Now let's go back to, so similar to this, there may be another customer use cases where you can take the advantage of using the DocuSign Apex toolkit and automate all customization workflow. So these all source code snippets code are also available on DocuSign developer website. So even if customers doesn't have background of Apex, they can be easily follow the steps documented on developer website and automate their customization workflow. So since we saw some of the example and how we can use the Apex toolkit, on top of that, we are also planning to add new service on coming days or in months. The service will be called Gen service. So DocuSign Gen customer can take advantage of these Gen services. Once the service will be available for customers, the customer can generate the documents via DocuSign Gen, also automatically send the generated document for eSignature. And as we saw earlier, there are already 8 existing services being exposed via Apex Toolkit. And for every release, there are always more methods and features being added in existing services. So also, if you are using or your application is using the Salesforce Apex code base, and if you want to integrate your application with DocuSign, then also you can take advantage of DocuSign Apex Toolkit and integrate the DocuSign with your application. So next, so some of the resources here for DocuSign application, as well as for learning about the DocuSign APIs. So if you go to Developer Center, you will be able to see DocuSign APIs being used for various purpose. And if you are specific Salesforce customer and wanted to go through the all DocuSign Apex Toolkit APIs, then also it's available on the DocuSign developer website. So if I quickly show you how can we go to DocuSign developer Apex Toolkit. So if you just search for DocuSign developer, I go to the site and click on the API. And then here you can see eSignature for Salesforce. And on the left side, you will see all various guides. And then for every guides, there are commonly used customer use cases from big installing the Apex Toolkit, and then how you can use all the APIs. In our earlier example is taken from here, how we can use the Salesforce flow and integrate DocuSign with Salesforce. So that's all about the presentation today. Feel free to have any question. We have also upcoming session tomorrow, ask me anything. So if you have any additional question, you can definitely ask. So yeah, that's all from the presentation today.
Hey, thanks, Devang. I'm trying to catch up with all the answers. There are so many good and interesting questions that you guys have been posting. So let me try to answer some of them. Keep them coming. I'll try to answer as many as I can as they come. The pattern is, one of the question is Apex Toolkit can be used only by DocuSign admins? No, all users, all Salesforce users who has a DocuSign license within Salesforce um, can and should be able to use DocuSign Apex Toolkit. Could you please provide code examples on how to obtain consent? Sure, definitely. I'll gonna go ahead and post it right now. Here you go, you should have it. How to catch the signed file in Salesforce? Similar question. How to replace the original file sent with the signed file? So currently DocuSign envelope templates and the Apex toolkits has the ability for DocuSign to attach the signed document back to Salesforce. I don't think we currently have the capability to delete the existing file from the list of Salesforce files. Maybe you can try out like a trigger on content version, but it might be, by going by name where it comes with underscore signed and see if that solves for your scenario.
So if you are using Apex Toolkit, then there is a capability you can replace the document in existing template with your new document. Just wanted to let everyone know.
Can we get the presentation as well as the access to those links? Yeah, definitely yes. I think you folks will get an email with all that information. If we have a new template created in DocuSign demo org, uh, how do we send the newly developed template to the DocuSign production org? Unfortunately, it it has to be manual, or you might have to use some data loader tools, because the envelope template is like a data. It's not a metadata, so it can't be migrated uh, via like any source trackers currently available. So you can manually do it or use any data loader services to do it. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the only option. Is there a guide to integrate DocuSign with Salesforce using DocuSign Connect? Yes, let me quickly find it. More pending. Yeah, one more question. How to monitor slash debug the updating process from DocuSign to Salesforce? Um, you can use DocuSign Logs tab for you can use there are multiple options to monitor. Not pretty straightforward though, because DocuSign to Salesforce is an asynchronous call, and Salesforce to DocuSign is an asynchronous call too. Uh, so number one is you can look at Apex jobs section of setup to see if uh, Salesforce to DocuSign have failed. And for DocuSign to Salesforce, you can always look at DocuSign logs within DocuSign setup to monitor how the integration from DocuSign to Salesforce is working, or if it have failed for a specific record. So it's in the DocuSign apps launcher managed package. The tab name is DocuSign logs. The other one is, what is an API call limit? What can we do when we reach the limit? Can we increase the limit? Good question. I'm not 100% sure of this answer. As far as I know, DocuSign does not have API call limit by org, but that doesn't mean you can load test on us. Yeah, definitely we will find it out and get back to you with that answer. Probably in tomorrow's Ask Us Everything session, or we'll try to include that in the part of the notes, or maybe a link to the resource if available.
Also,
sorry, one more question came in. Devang, do you want to finish your thought before that?
yeah, I just wanted to mention also that there is a DocuSign University where a bunch of the courses are available if you are new to DocuSign products, as well as if you want to learn about DocuSign integration with Salesforce. Then there are a few courses for self-learning, and I think the customers can take advantage of those learning. So it will have also DocuSign eSignature as well as DocuSign App Launcher. So yeah.
Good call out. Thanks, Devang. Another question: when user is created in DAL, the user status shows as pending even after they receive activation emails from DocuSign. Are there other steps? Yes. The DocuSign managed package comes with an connected app that allows all users to self-authorize. So the user, once they get the license, have to log in or authorize DocuSign. So it can be done multiple ways. You can use Apex Toolkit and incorporate that in your flows, or you can drag and drop the DocuSign files component anywhere on the record page. And for the first time when the user sees it, or until they have authorized, they will see the authorize button and grant their consent. So that's for integrating. And to become active, they once they get the email, they have to set up their password to DocuSign, and that should show them as active status. Can we share certain document/template from DocuSign to Salesforce? I'm not sure if I understand that question. Do you mean sending documents from DocuSign to Salesforce? Uh, if so, then no, that's not possible. Yeah, that's not possible. Sending or sharing documents from DocuSign to Salesforce. Um, can we pull DocuSign document status as a field in the envelope list view in Salesforce? DocuSign document status. Not 100% sure. I haven't looked into if the field is on the envelope. I can quickly check on that. So, give me a second. No, I don't see an envelope status field on the envelope document. The status is stored as actually a separate object in itself, um, and that's not actually tied to anything. That's actually tied to the primary record. Does DocuSign work with customer community plus licenses? Um, yes, you can use DocuSign within communities for community users as well. You just need, I think you just need to talk to an AE and get an additional additional SKU added that gives you the permission to add community users to DocuSign. So there are a couple of things that I need to get back on. One is the link to DocuSign Connect. The other one is the API limits. I think we have gone ahead and answered all the questions. Thanks a lot for taking time and posting all this. If you have any further questions or you need more time, um, we will be available in Ask Us Anything session at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Feel free to join, and we are there to talk to you and help you out. Uh, App launcher package needs to be purchased additionally. You don't have to purchase the package if you have the DocuSign licenses already within Salesforce. You can install the DocuSign apps launcher package and connect it to the DocuSign org you already have. So there is no like purchase needed to download the package, or you only need a DocuSign license or a DocuSign org to connect the Salesforce to.